Hello and welcome to your morning, evening, afternoon, whatever the hell you want to call it. So, um, yeah, not really much happening because it is actually nice out for nice out for once in New England, and because it is 48 degrees and it's cold as sin out with the wind and all that other jazz. So I am going to run upstairs real quick. Basically, why I'm doing this is just because lately, as in these past few days, Joey, my friend, has been putting out videos, well, regularly, on just him doing random stuff, and I try and do this whenever the hell I can. So, yeah. So, recently, as in these past few days, and I'm probably gonna look like a weirdo doing this, but the past few days we have been tinkering with my car. This being spray paint, well, plasti dipping that panel there, and this panel on the other side. Now this we took twice to do. As you can see, it's kind of like not fully there, like this one is, so you can't really see the green in it, but I don't know. We're gonna try and do the other side again, and then maybe do the Golf and the VW logo, and maybe this front piece, but I don't know. So recently, I put an aftermarket exhaust on my car, and I don't know how we can do it. Yeah. Well, that's gonna work for now until I do this. So, before you haven't heard my car. Oh wait, yeah, once. It was kind of like not really much anything. Now it's that. So it's a little louder than what it was before. And it sounds pretty cool, so I'll now rev it for you guys a little bit. So I don't know how well that got it, but that is the new exhaust on my car. And I personally like it because it's louder and it's not that kind of like you start it up and it's quiet and you can't really hear it, but it's more or less the turn on is wah, not a so I don't know, it's a personal preference, but I think soon I'm gonna put a cone air filter on it just to add a little bit more horsepower. I was debating on turboing it just so that it was kind of like, hey, it's a turbo and it gets off the line quicker, but I'm not really looking for it off the line right now because it does have 233,000 miles on it. So, yeah, I kind of can't do much of anything with it. But since we're on April break, my sleep schedule has been so screwed up. So I've been going to bed at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and not waking up until like 11-ish. So for most people, that's like, hell yeah, that's great. But for me, it's great for now, but once we go back to school next week, I am going to be royally screwed trying to wake up at 6, going to bed at 10-ish. So I won't be tired, and I will have to kind of just like try and wake up that early. But alright, so while I was cleaning a little bit, that giant mess is all from one section of my room, but I found all my foreign money. Now, I've never traveled outside of the country, but most of it I found just like laying around. So I don't know how it like crosses over from whatever to US dollars, but I don't have a lot, but it's just kind of interesting. The main reason why I'm doing the segment is because I have French money, so I have a 20. Hold on. What it says is 20 sentiments, but then I have a. If I could get it upside down, a half franc or franc or however the heck you say it. I don't know if that's like half of what would be a dollar and that's like cents, or I need help. Massive help. But I have 10 pence in Britain, 90 cents in Canada, $1 in Mexico, and 20 some odd in, hold on, 20, 1, 2, 3, 5, I don't know, 1, 2, wait a second. Okay. Does anyone know Chinese money better than I do? Because why is it a big one is 1 yuan, and then a little one is one, wait. That makes sense. Never mind. But if I were anyone and I just looked at that, judging off the numbers, I would think they're equal. But it's the characters right there that tell you which one it is. Because then this one's 5, which makes sense. So 20 note and something. Now, partly the other reason why I was cleaning a little bit was because I have a few things. Now, not things can be misconstrued into many weird ways, so I'm not going off of that. It pertains to that, and, well, that and this, if any of you all know what this is. So what you just saw there was all 3 of my Lego models for there's Beetle, Bus, and an F-355, I think. Don't quote me on that, I don't remember, because that model is like 8 years old, I think. And that's already been, as you can tell, destroyed and then brought back because I then had the Beetle. So I'm like, wait, I remember having another one, so I found it, found all of the pieces, rebuilt it to a point, and then modified it into a track car, at least for the Ferrari. Whereas the bus and the Beetle are still the original models, just slightly and more or less everything modified, except for the interior and what would be the engine compartment if you could see it. So the engine compartment is the same on that one, and the same, which you can't really see it on that one. And I don't know an easier way to, well, actually, there we go. I was going to grab a flashlight, but I don't have one on hand, so I just opened that up and pushed that all the way up. So you can kind of see into it, kind of not, but it's still the stock engine for both of those, even though neither of them run. So I tried to wide body the Beetle and get it like up and over this, which is why this stud and that stud is there, so that I could kind of just like take this, put this onto there, and so then it would be like covering that, but I could never get it to where it was like filled in all in here, so it kind of just looked weird. So I just resorted to using that little piece and putting it back up onto there. Whereas the bus, this is kind of new. Well, the model's new to begin with, at least in my household, but I couldn't figure out a way to lower it, because I've always seen, like, model-wise, these lowered with the wheels inside, so I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I got kind of creative, and I'm going to pick this up from the front. I'm just gonna flip it over. There goes the spare for the Beetle, and do kind of one of those. So I got kind of creative and just made structural supports that went in, and then structural supports that went out and then back in, just to get it a little bit lower than it was, and not as high as it was. Granted, it wasn't all that high, it was only about like that far off, but I'm like, nah, I want to see how low I can get it. So I got it, well, what would be, aside from dark, slammed, just not bag, well, it's bagged, but slammed to a point where the front tires are cambered and the back are a little bit, not too terribly much. Nothing like those. So yeah, that's really about it. I mean, this morning, oh no, that's not good. This is why I rarely open up my curtains, because this, for some reason, decides it wants to be difficult and break. So I never realized how beat to crap this is, but because I never really like think of it, but oh my gosh. And no, that is not dust. That is truly worn off. But oh my god, it looks like fall, because there's no friggin' leaves on the trees. This is bull. It looks really nice out, honestly, but if I were to open up this window, it'd be ice cold. So yeah, like I said, nothing really much happened. I kind of just woke up really late, went to bed. Well, I actually didn't fall asleep until 2 o'clock in the morning. Didn't actually get out of bed until like 11:30. I was up at like 9, which I have to be up at 8 tomorrow to go to work for 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 hours. And yeah. So this summer you can hopefully, at least on my part, expect, yeah, just expect, because every single time I go, yeah, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, it just never happens. So, yeah. And to say to that, adios.